On today's episode, we'll step inside the tidy office of CAO's biggest Hawaiian shirt enthusiast, Peter Carlson, to find out more about the CAO's litigation team.
Sometimes with litigation, you really kind of got to dive into and get your hands dirty. His dog had an accident inside the paper. Frankly, it was one of the crappier cases I've ever had to deal with.
After we wash up, Peter will take us to his favorite local lunch spot, Emmett's Tavern, while telling us how the litigation team works with other teams within the CAO to drive business results. This is Lunch with CAO.
Hey guys, my name is Peter Carlson. Looking forward to going to lunch with you all today. Having you tag along when we go out to Emmett's Pub in Palatine, Illinois, which is next door to us here in Schaumburg. How I ended up here is kind of an interesting story. After having been a litigator in private practice for 10 years, frankly, I kind of lucked into working for Motorola. A friend of a friend said there were a position here at Motorola, and I came out and did an interview and been here now for 16 years. The reason why I've stayed that long is that it's been a great place to work with wonderful people, interesting issues, and it's a place where you can grow. In Chicago, we have two seasons, right? We've got winter and construction, but on beautiful days like today, I kind of think back to my wife who went to school in Hawaii, and she said that every Friday they have Aloha Friday, they wear Aloha shirts. So that's what I try to do every day on Friday. I'm part of the litigation group within the CAO, and the litigation group reports up to Jim Niviera. The litigation group is responsible for managing all litigation on a global basis, and that ranges from setting budgets, finding the right outside counsel to represent us in the case, managing the strategy in the case, and then either taking that case all the way to trial or looking for an opportunity to try to settle that case at some point prior to the trial date. The type of skills you need to be a litigator at Motorola is you have to be organized. You also have to obviously be able to collaborate and work well with other folks who the litigation focuses on. An average day for a litigator at Motorola is obviously, as you might imagine, pretty busy. Spend a lot of time on the phone, whether it's meeting with our own business partners to get them ready for a legal proceeding like a deposition or something like that. Also spend a lot of time talking to outside attorneys who are representing us in a case, trying to understand what's the status in the case, what's the strategy on a particular motion or pleading. So it's usually wall-to-wall calls. The team's biggest challenge, frankly, is just the volume, is making sure that we focus on the correct cases and put our resources towards those, while at the same time, however, not losing sight of that any particular case can become a bad case very quickly if we don't give it any attention. At Emmett's today, I'm having the whitefish and rice and vegetables. I love their fish and chicken, which are the only things I can have these days. Can't have red meat or gluten or dairy, so this is not much of a compromise. It's really good stuff here. Yeah, the great thing about being part of the litigation group is that I get to work really with all the groups in the CAO, because at one time or another, all of them are going to have some sort of litigation problem. So I work with the folks from the marketing. If we got a complaint from the FTC, we've got complaints, legal cases with our HR folks. We've had issues with our procurement or our customers. So I get to work with those folks. So all of them are a pleasure to work with. They're very collaborative, and frankly, we need their help in trying to win out a particular claim that we get involved in. I think there's a lot of advantages for all of us being part of the CAO now. I think it's easy for us to collaborate. Just here, for example, in Schaumburg, I can walk around our floor and I can talk to people from an EHS perspective. I can grab one of our IP attorneys and we can sit down and go through a claim. So I think there's easier to have those sort of synergies and those sort of collaborative efforts that we didn't have before when we were separated. That was a great meal. Man, We got to go, guys, right now. A great example of collaboration that the litigation group has done with just one of our CAO fellow organizations is Suzanne McCaffrey's marketing group. About a year and a half ago, we got a complaint from the Federal Trade Commission concerning how we were advertising certain performance aspects of our family radio products, and it was great to work one-on-one and closely not only with Suzanne but the rest of her team. Sometimes with litigation, you really kind of got to dive into and get your hands dirty, and so one example of that, we've got a multi-million-dollar judgment against this guy. We've been chasing him, and so he was required to turn over documents that were relevant to the case. He turned them over to our outside counsel, and his excuse was that his dog had an accident inside the papers. Frankly, it was one of the crappier cases I've ever had to deal with. It was nice to go to lunch with you guys. I hope you know a little bit more about me, a little bit more about litigation. It's been about 2 hours, so time to put the badge back on and get back to work.